You're literally here doing this every night anyway. You may as well just leverage this time of day to manifest all your dreams and goals into your reality. A couple of years ago, I stumbled upon a meditation technique by Neville Goddard that has gone on to completely transform my life. And not just my life, but since I've been making videos about it and meditations that help people to tap into that state, it's gone on to help thousands of other people to manifest so many things that they wanted into their reality. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you what it is, how to do it, and share some juicy resources with you too that will enable you to tap into this technique immediately. For those of you who don't know who Neville Goddard is, he was a thought leader of his time and he manifested some spectacular things into his reality. And he was teaching other people as well how to leverage the power of their subconscious mind to change the reality around them. One of the things he talked about a lot is the moments that we are in bed drifting off to sleep, where you're not fully awake, but you're not fully asleep yet. That is a powerful time of day when a window opens up. Your subconscious mind is more impressionable, more open to suggestion. And so it's a great time of day to focus on the reality that you want as if it's already yours, because that's sinking straight into your subconscious. And then you go to sleep for however many hours, and your subconscious mind is working on it, processing it, digesting it, rehearsing it, as Neville says, so that then when you wake up the next day, whether you realize it or not, your waking day is actually impacted by those last thoughts that you fed your subconscious mind the night before. Let me get a direct Neville quote to back me up on this. Where are you, Neville? Here we go, good old Uncle Nev. He says, "If, as you prepare for sleep, you do not consciously feel yourself into the state of the answered wish, then you will take the sum total of the reactions and feelings of the waking day, and while asleep, you'll be instructed in the manner in which they'll be expressed tomorrow." He goes on to say, "You'll rise believing you are a free agent, not realizing that every action and event of the day is predetermined by your concept of self as you fell asleep. So cast yourself for the role and rehearse it while you sleep." Okay, thanks, Neville. So the thing about Neville is that he's kind of from a different era. So sometimes his teachings, while they are brilliant, can be a bit inaccessible because the English is a little bit wordy and fluffy and complicated and beautiful. But let me see if I can paraphrase what that says to make it even more digestible for the modern day mind. He's basically saying that what the majority of people do is they lie in bed after a day where all sorts of things happened, positive and negative, where they were, really focused on their current present reality, even if it wasn't their desired reality. And then maybe they're lying in bed and they just fall asleep, or they're lying in bed and they're even worrying about stuff, overthinking stuff, running over regrets in their mind, stressing, not feeling good enough, all that stuff. And he's basically saying if you do that, your subconscious mind collects all of that, processes it, rehearses it, and it basically creates your next day reality. And I love how he says you'll rise believing you are a free agent, like almost like you'll wake up the next day thinking I'm in complete control of my life. But actually every action and event of your following day was predetermined by how you were feeling about yourself and life when you drifted off to sleep the night before. And what I love about this technique is that it doesn't take any extra time out of your day. You're literally here doing this every night anyway. You may as well just leverage this time of day to manifest all your dreams and goals into your reality. So the positive side of this is that as you're lying in bed at night, you can focus on what you want to attract, and you can do this in a number of ways. One of Neville's favorite ways is to create a short, simple scene in your imagination where you're visualizing some kind of moment in your reality that you want to manifest, as if you're experiencing it right now. And you simply loop that scene in your head over and over and over again, as much as you can, until you drift off to sleep. And I know that this process sounds simple, and it is, but also sometimes our mind can wander off, or it can be difficult to concentrate on a scene while we're drifting off to sleep. And that is why I created these guided meditations that guide you exactly through this process. They help you to get clear on what the scene is, first of all, before we fall asleep. And then I guide you to get into a more deeply relaxed state. And then all throughout the night, you'll just hear my voice every 30 seconds, just gently reminding you and nudging you to bring that scene back into your head, so that anytime when you're rustled from your blissful slumber, you hear my voice just reminding you to, oh yeah, I can visualize that amazing scene again when I'm in this place and I'm doing this thing. And so you're really leveraging all of that time while you're drifting off to sleep, and any other times during the night when you wake up, you're basically soaking your subconscious with the life that you want so that it can rehearse it, and then the next day it can go and show you the things that are going to lead you there or guide you to that exact scenario, which is what I've experienced before. And by the way, I created these meditations because I noticed there was a distinct lack of good guided meditations that walked you through that process. And I think that's one of the reasons why those videos have exploded with growth, because they're genuinely a really useful tool for so many people who are looking for a guided meditation to help them through this Neville Goddard method. Now, if you're somebody who struggles to visualize, I have good news for you. There is another way that you can do this to still leverage that window that opens up as you drift off to sleep. Something else that Neville Goddard sometimes did as he was drifting off to sleep was he closed his eyes and he would feel that his body is there lying in bed. He imagined that he was lying in the bed in the moment of his reality where what he wanted had happened. So one example of this was when he was in a military training camp and he didn't want to have to go to war. He wanted to be back at home with his wife and his child. So he was in bed in the military camp. He could feel his body resting on the mattress. He could feel his head on the pillow. He could feel the covers over him. But with his eyes closed, he imagined that actually that bed that he could feel was his bed at home. He imagined sensing the presence of his wife's body sleeping next to him. He imagined sensing the shape of his bedroom around him. He knew where the bedside table was. He knew where the furniture was. He knew where the window was. And he imagined the presence of his child as well, sleeping. So even though physically his body was lying on a different bed somewhere else, he allowed what his senses could feel, i.e. a pillow, a mattress, covers, etc., make it easier for him to transport himself into a moment of his reality that he wanted to be in. And the amazing thing about that particular example is that after, I think it was just 9 nights, he was brought into the office and handed a piece of paper that gave him permission to go back home. For example, what I did once was when I was manifesting my Spanish residency, I imagined that as I laid in bed, that my residency card was on my bedside table, on my nightstand. There I was lying in bed, sensing the presence of my residency card before I had manifested it. And then when the day came that I got my residency card, I was so happy, and I actually went to my bedside table and I put the card on the nightstand just to really confirm it to me that all those nights I was imagining it there, now it is there. What I would encourage you to do with this technique is commit to it long term. You may find that what you visualize tonight manifests in your reality tomorrow, or you may find that it appears in your reality in the future weeks or months that follow, especially when you commit to doing this every single night. Because the more that you're feeding your subconscious with the reality that you want to live in, the more it has to rehearse and to lead you one step at a time to that reality, and trust the process. You know, if you may find that some unexpected shifts or changes are happening in your life, that's your North Star. You've declared where you're going. Maybe some pieces are being rearranged for you to be able to enter that desired reality. You're going to be falling asleep once a day anyway, if not more than once a day. What else are you going to do? Now you know the secret. Now you know what you have available to you every single night. Isn't that exciting? You can leverage this thing that's completely for free. You don't have to carve out extra time in your schedule. You're falling asleep every day anyway. You may as well fall asleep and manifest your dream life. Share this video with anyone else that you think needs to know about this. And below in the description and here on the screen, I will put a playlist of the guided meditations I've created to help you to use the Neville Goddard process as you drift off to sleep.